Hello everyone, Jeremy Senpai here, and I'm here to give you yet another amazing podcast. This one is a bit different. I'm not talking about a specific cartoon. I mean, I kind of am, but it's an anime movie. The one I'll be talking about is the Osomatsu-san movie. Um, and yeah, for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, Osomatsu-san is a very comedic anime. The story follows sextuplets and the dysfunctional adventures that they go on and all the crazy people that they encounter along the way during their adventures. The story basically follows them in their adulthood. This is kind of a sequel series because we saw them because there was a series when they were kids, just called sorry. My brain is kind of going a bit here. But anyway, this is a sequel series when they are adults in their early to mid 20s. I would like to think so. But anyway, that's the context. And I just want to say, the Osomatsu-san movie, this movie broke me. This movie almost drove me to tears. And there is a very, very good reason for that. Yes, I know a lot of people would probably think, oh, Somatsu-san, it's meant to be a very funny series, right? How can you possibly get sad from it? Well, there are a handful of episodes, like the episode Jushimatsu in Love, where one of the brothers falls in love with a girl who does love him for his quirkiness. However, she ends up moving away before he can ask her out. And so that's a very sad and wonderfully sad scene that everybody still talks about to this day. Anyway, moving on. Okay, the episode opens up where we see someone laying in a bed. With the window open. It looks very dreary. It looks like it could be almost any room. Anyway, and we actually don't get to see this person's face. I mean, we kind of do, but it's a little obscured by her glasses. And we see a black cat staring at the girl in the bed from the window. Okay, and then we cut right to the real start of the story. We see the brothers, the Osomatsu brothers, Osomatsu, Karamatsu, sorry, my head, Jushimatsu, Totomatsu. Look, those are the ones that I can remember off the top of my head, okay? I know the names, they're just not clicking right now. Let's just move on. Basically, the six brothers are attending their high school reunion. It has been at least 10 years since they saw all their school friends. And they are getting along pretty well. However, we cut right to the main crux of the problem. Almost everybody there is talking about how they have cool jobs, how some of them are married, how some of them are even parents now. But the thing about the Osomatsu brothers, they're all NEETs. Now, for those of you that don't know what a NEET is a young adult who doesn't attend school, doesn't work, doesn't have job training, and for the moment at least during that period of their lives doesn't intend to do any of it. I mean, a good number of them actually get out of that life, but for the most part they basically sponge off their parents and other relatives that would take them in. Look, there's a bit more when it comes to NEET culture, but that is a discussion for another video, and if I talk about it too much, it'll distract us even more. Anyway, It's eventually revealed that the brothers are neats and that they aren't working, they're not in school, they're not doing anything other than just hanging out, and they literally get torn into by their former friends. Granted, some of them are a bit intoxicated, they've been drinking a bit much, so it's a bit forgivable. And then the brothers go home, they have their yearbooks out, and they very understandably are angry, wishing at the very least that they had it good too. Because they are 6 brothers, they're still living at home, they are not working, and this is entirely their choice when you think about it. Like I said, I'm not going to go into neat culture too much because it'll distract us too much. Anyway, but when they wake up in the morning, they find that things have changed. They have gone back to their last year of high school. Now, keep in mind here, they didn't go back in their younger bodies like in Days of Future Past. Their older selves woke up in their high school bedroom, presumably after their high school selves have left for the day. And that's when they start to realize. They talk to the doctor, I forget his name too, okay? And he tells them that this fantasy world may have been created from regrets. That it may have been created from the regrets that they may have felt when they were younger. So, each of the brothers start to retrace their steps, figure out who among them might have regrets. And we actually get to see how the brothers were when they were in high school. The first series, I think it's called Osomatsu-kun, because kun is usually a younger honorific. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, it shows them as little kids, but here we get to see them in their high school years. Okay, moving right along, and every one of them is very different. There's one of the brothers, the green one, Choromatsu, that's his name, Choromatsu. Choromatsu is kind of a bit of a teacher's pet, he's a bit of a suck-up. Apparently he wanted to be the stereotypical honor student. Then we see Totomatsu, who, being the youngest brother, he's a bit of a kiss-up, no, not really a kiss-up. He's more of a baby brother, where he's 17, 18 years old, and he actually needs to go to the police station like a little kid when he's separated from his older brothers. Okay. Jushimatsu, despite being the lovable goof that we know him as, tries too hard to be serious, almost like a gangster. Except for Osomatsu. Osomatsu really hasn't changed much. He's still a bit of a deadbeat. He's a bit of a pervert. The thing. And now we have Ichimatsu, the purple one, Ichimatsu. I forgot his name, but I remembered it now. Ichimatsu, despite being the very withdrawn, kind of shut-in that he is, Ichimatsu tries to be a bit of a social butterfly, which he hates. So much so that when Ichimatsu sees his younger self, he actually wants to go over and kill his younger self. And let's see, and very interestingly, Karamatsu, who always has this bravado about him, at least on the outside, we see him very insecure, we see him very soft-spoken, and almost doesn't know how to talk to his brothers. Eventually, after the brothers separate and come back together, I need to mention one thing. Their childhood friend, Todoko, did I get the name right? Hold on. Todoko. Yes, that's her name, Todoko. Sorry, my brain is kind of going back and forth. I've been recording all day, and not just for YouTube. Toko. As you know, when she's older, Toko wants to reclaim some of her popularity. She has this delusion that she is cute, she is popular, and to a degree she kind of is, but she almost does it to the point that it's almost self-toxic. Anyway, and very interestingly, we see her as a high schooler, where people are all around her, people are surrounding her, saying how, oh, her parents are musicians, she makes her own lunch, she's done all this incredible cool stuff. But when they get away from her, she loses her shit. She throws the violin that she was supposed to play away. She throws the big fancy lunch she throws away. And she is ragging. She's all like, I never asked to be the heroine. I never asked for any of this. It's so hard to live up to all this. And and it is kind of hilarious. It's almost like, look, Totoko is the main girl, and we do root for her, but at the same time, she's a bit trashy at the same time. But she's trashy that we love, you know? Anyway, just something I thought I would share there because it's a bit interesting. Totoko is fed up with her popularity when she's in high school, and yet when we see her years later, she has this delusion, borderline delusion, and she almost wants it back. And she wants it just for the sake of bragging about it. It's not for any real purpose. Okay, moving along. Eventually, the brothers, after talking with their friends in the past, they start to realize and remember that they were never that close, at least in high school. That they all adapted these different personalities so they could be different from each other. They all became these different kinds of people and tried their best to stay away from each other to the point that they're almost antagonistic towards the other, almost like they can't stand the other. We do learn in a later flashback that apparently because they are sextuplets and high schoolers were kind of high schoolers about it, saying that it's hard to tell them apart, saying that they are all basically the same person. So they all kind of separate from each other, forming their own friend groups, their own separate personalities, and this became a bit detrimental at the same time. Anyway, Karamatsu very interestingly discovers a letter that was addressed to one of the brothers, but it doesn't include their name on it. It only includes their last name. It only includes the last name on them, so we don't even know which of the brothers it goes to. Anyway, Karamatsu was going to ask the brothers that who it might have been for. However, this results in a huge rooftop fight right after they graduate, and the letter is lost. Yeah, the letter is lost. So, the brothers naturally assume that this was the big regret. The fact that they need to find this letter and have their past selves not open it. Thanks to Totoko and Chibita, they eventually discover that the letter was actually from a classmate of theirs named Nozomi Takahashi. They discover that she's a girl, something that they very, very, very much want for reasons. And there was a rumor that she may have had a crush on them, and this changes everything. The boys need their younger selves to read that letter again. Basically, there's this whole climax thing where the older versions of the brothers have to help their younger versions realize all this stuff about themselves, ultimately telling them that the future's not going to be so bad. You know, the classic thing that you would probably tell your younger self, that the future will be better, that's not so bad as you may think it is. The world is literally falling apart because the world of memories is falling apart, and the only safe place for them to go is Takahashi's house. So the younger brothers all make a mad dash for Takahashi's house, while the older versions of the brothers are watching. The younger versions knock on the door, and we meet Takahashi. She is a very mousy, kind of withdrawn girl. She has dark hair and braids, she has glasses, and she is very flustered when meeting them. And she brilliantly comes up with the idea of taking a picture altogether. And the brothers at first are a bit against it. They are a bit against it. I mean, the brothers, they don't want to do it. They're all spread out. They're shown to be very uncomfortable being around each other, and Takahashi almost backs out. But the brothers eventually make her laugh, and then they take the picture together. And then and then that picture of the six brothers and Takahashi-san all come together, and it even survives once the dream world is over with, the dream world of memories. Eventually the movie closes out where we see the six brothers in their bedroom, and they're all laughing together, and kind of making fun of each other for everything that they used to act like in their past. But unbeknownst to them, the same black cat from the start of the movie and was with them throughout the entire movie is watching them and goes off on its own. And eventually the cat takes the form of Takahashi as an adult. And Takahashi eventually walks back to her old house, but with a different family name on it. She reminisces about everything, all the thoughts that she had when she wrote the letter initially. She says how the brothers always made her laugh, how she always wanted to have siblings of her own, and says how important they are to her. She says that she loves them. Maybe it's romantic love, maybe it's platonic love, maybe it's appreciation love. I don't know. But anyway. And then the note gets a bit dark, where she says that after graduating, she probably has to move away for a little while, but she does hope that she can see them again. And after that, she's finished with the letter, and we flash back to Takahashi as a high schooler, all alone on the roof. But this time, she's joined by the brothers, and they take the iconic picture, which now the brothers have a copy of. And then we skip back to that room, the white room from the opening of the movie, where we see it's now Takahashi as an adult, smiling, and it is very much hinted that Takahashi, in her early to mid-20s, has passed away from an unknown illness, thus ending the movie on a very heartbreaking note right there. Okay, there was a lot to digest right there, but I will get into that, because I kinda have to. There is a lot to talk about. There is a lot to digest here. And like I said at the beginning of this movie made me cry for both the movie and personal reasons, which I will talk about. First thing that I want to talk about is Takahashi. I mean, when the movie opens up, we literally see Takahashi very sickly laying in a bed, her face is obscured, and then we see the cat. And it's later revealed that the cat is actually Takahashi. So, I mean, we learn later down the road it was actually Takahashi's regret. Most likely her regret that she never got to see the brothers again before her death. So, Takahashi probably created the whole memory dream world because she wanted to see the brothers one last time before she died. But also the fact that in her letter she literally said that she was going to move away after graduation. So what I'm taking from this is that Takahashi, just before she graduated high school, maybe months or even a couple of years before, she had some sort of horrible fatal illness, and her family had to move her away to attend some sort of specialist hospital where she could receive treatment. However, years later, all of the treatments eventually fail, and Takahashi, with only moments left to live, wants to see the brothers one last time. So her spirit becomes a cat so she can take the journey through the memory world with them and be at their side. That is very heartbreaking when you think about it, especially when the brothers didn't even remember Takahashi until they entered the dream world. But Takahashi really is an amazing character, and the very fact that at the very opening scene of the movie was building up to this is very, very heartbreaking. But now we're going to move on to the personal reasons why this movie made me cry. There's an old saying that there is a big difference between our insecure high school years and our more confident adult ones. And for the past 10, 11 years since I left high school, graduated of course, I start to wonder how much progress I've actually made as a person. I wonder if I've done well for myself. Yes, I'm working a 40 to 50 hour job. I have all the benefits and I've done well at. I have this channel which, even though I don't have a lot of subscribers right now, I'm sticking to it and I'm having fun. I'm doing martial arts and yoga and running and weightlifting, trying to be my best self. I'm also writing and doing audiobooks, and at some point I actually want to go for my master's degree. So, I've got a lot of coals in the fire. I've got a lot of great things going for me at the same time. But like anyone, I have my insecure moments. I think to myself, I look so overweight, or why didn't I do this? That's called productivity shame, where I wish I had done something. I feel insecure and anxious when I don't do it, and afterward I defeat myself when I didn't do it. I'm trying to be better about that, but that even applies here to YouTube. There are just some days where I know I need to work on a video, where I need to work on audio, and I just don't have the energy or the mindset to do it, which can be a bit taxing when days turn into weeks. Yes, I always deliver, but I'm not always in the mood to deliver, if you know what I mean. I like to think for the most part I've done pretty well for myself. I really have. Everyone has those feelings regarding themselves as a person, thinking to themselves, it's been 10 years, I'm sure everyone else has done better compared to me. I need to keep showing that I'm doing well. That's a pretty toxic mindset when you think about it. And even do as I say, not as I do, everybody. Just because I don't feel this way doesn't mean that you yourself aren't. We all do the best we can with the cards that we're dealt. I'm doing pretty well for myself, I'd like to think, and I'm sure you're doing pretty well for yourself. So, sometimes we need to cut ourselves a break. Because, as this movie proved 10 years ago, or even 10 years from now, we're probably not even going to vaguely remember all the problems that are going on in our life right now. I mean, we'll remember them, and chances are we'll probably laugh about them, but they're not going to be the thing that's bothering us right now. So, we'll be different people 10 years from now, just like how we were different people 10 years ago. Things change, for better or worse, it's up to us. And even though I don't always have this good mindset with myself that I want to do these things, I'm moving forward, and I hope that you guys do the same thing. Anyway, that's my takeaway from the Osomatsu-san movie. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff. This is Jeremy Senpai, signing off. And I hope that you enjoy your day. Hit like if you've enjoyed your day at least a little bit. Thank you very, very much.